video on the importance of trading zones and trading when there's volume. Uh, so this is a 12-hour APT chart, and what you see is it came on the market, price went all over the place, and then it settled. And you've got these very large volume gaps. And volume gaps tend to have price just move through very quickly because there's not a whole lot of people trading at those price levels. Now, when you have something new like APT and there's not a ton of history, you end up getting these gaps, and they kind of, over time, some of them might fill in. But at the end of the day, what you can see is that there's a whole lot of people that traded down here in the $5 range, a whole lot of people that traded over here at the $8, $7, $8 range. And if we were to lose this 7.2 level, there's a good chance that we'd head down to 5.4 relatively quickly. Now, indicators, a lot of times, certain indicators work because people are watching them, algos are using them, and therefore when moving average or VWAP is crossed or reclaimed, it tends to have an influx of volume. So I wanted to try and explain this as simply as I could. And what I came up with is this example. Let's say you have 50 widgets in existence. Those widgets have traded anywhere from $1 to $12, $15. Currently, if you say in the $10 area, there's been 100 transactions, and in the $5 area, there's been 100 transactions. And between 5 and 10, there's only been 15 transactions. So what happens? A, price is likely to move quickly from 10 down to 5. But if you're trading in that middle area, or you're trading in between two key levels, all of a sudden, price becomes much more unpredictable because it takes a lot less transactions. If one person needs to buy a widget or wakes up in the morning and decides they want to buy a widget, they could market buy and the price could move up just from that one transaction. Because there's not a lot of history, there's not a lot of orders on the books, there's not a lot of liquidity, and so one or two transactions can move the market, and you just never know who's going to wake up and hit the buy or sell button. Now, when you get to an area in this example where you get to the 10 or the 5, a move outside of one of those zones can be more predictable because you've got more market participants, you've got more volume, you've got an actual clear direction when it moves away from that. And so what you need to realize is if you're trading crypto on the weekends or you're trading in between key levels, just because the candles go up or down doesn't mean that there's a significant momentum or market sentiment shift. Waiting for those key levels or having a proper strategy that allows you to enter and exit at areas in which markets are likely to see increases in transactional volume make your setups more predictable. Not 100%, but just more predictable. Trading in between these low volume zones or during times where there's low volume is going to lead to a lower success rate, even if you are good at reading the charts and reading the price movement, because it's much, much easier to move the market with less size. So hopefully that helps folks understand why price sometimes doesn't make sense, why it's important to wait for key levels. When you look at something like APT and you kind of zoom in, right, like back here, we have this area, channel, it breaks out. So what happens? Once this breakout happens, a lot of traders are watching the same thing, algos are watching the same thing. And so you see this increase in volume. That's partially because breakout traders are entering, partially because shorts are getting stopped out or liquidated. And that's what you want to see. You want when you're in a trade that's moving like this, or you want it to move like this, you want to see a corresponding rise in volume. If you have price, if this price breaks out and goes up to here, and this corresponding volume does not go up, then there's a much higher likelihood that that reverses back down. So hopefully that explains it a little bit better. Let me know if you have any questions or if there's any indicators that you want me to review. Have a good one.